If you are a Portuguese speaker living outside of Brazil, you might think that finding resources in Portuguese for reading to your children or to other people's kids can be really difficult. I feel you there. But guess what? There are resources available. Today, I've got your back. I'm going to show you inside of all of the Portuguese books that we have bought from within the United States. First off, there is this lovely book of vocabulary words. This is colorful. There are so many words, so many practical words that your child should know when they are in preschool. One thing to note is that the alphabet does follow the English words rather than the Portuguese words. So, for example, you have one letter that would be A in English. It's not necessarily going to start with the same letter sound in Portuguese. The next book is called A Semente, and this book follows the development of a seed into a plant, and it follows the seasons as well. It's a lovely, beautiful picture book. Da Minha Janela by Otávio Júnior is one of our very favorite books in Portuguese. It is about a favela in Brazil and the beauty that is there, also the sadness and the colors. So colorful, so loud, so beautiful, and so amazing. We picked up this book Cuando eu era criança, and immediately my husband said, yes, 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 yes. This was his childhood in Brazil. And the lovely thing about this book is that it introduces children to a past generation, likely their parents' generation, that played all kinds of different games. And they can see similarities to their own lives. They can also see the dissimilarities and maybe want to try some of these activities with their parents or with other Brazilians that they know. Meu irmão, minha sombra is very nice for our family because we have two little boys who kind of mirror the boys in this story. And one little brother adores his older brother, wants to be with him all the time, but the older brother, of course, wants some space and gets a bit annoyed. When he spends some time away from his little brother, though, he discovers how much he really loves him, and the story has a very sweet ending. The words have a poetic rhythm to them, there are some rhymes, and it's a great story just about familial connection. A big part of Brazil's history is the story of immigration. Do Fim ao Começo is a book that covers this topic quite well. After World War II, many immigrants came from Europe, escaping the atrocities of the war, escaping the devastation that was their homeland, and became Brazilians. And this story just beautifully follows one man as he creates a new life in Brazil. If you are reading to children who are bilingual or whom you want to teach Portuguese to, then this book, Os Dois Idiomas de Sofia, is a book for you. We've loved this story because our boys are speaking and learning Portuguese and English, and so this story is them. This little girl has a Brazilian mom and an American dad, and she has this amazing ability to sort out the languages and live in both worlds. This next book is one of my son's absolute favorites, and he will reach for it anytime he sees it. Uma Mente Diferente covers the topic of autism, and we know several children who have autism, and my son is very interested in why they act differently than he expects them to. And this book talks about how to treat your friends who have autism, how you can help them not to be startled, different things that are going on in their brain. It's just a very good introduction to this topic, and it's in Portuguese. If you are just delving into teaching Portuguese, then A Fabulous Lost and Found in the Little Mouse Who Spoke Portuguese is a great place to start. This book has 50 words in Portuguese covered in it. The story is really fun. It's really easy to get kids interested in. I will note that there are a few actual grammatical errors in the book. My sons are not reading yet, so they don't know the difference, but I read the corrected version as we go through this book. Boa Noite, Lontrinha do Mar is a bilingual book in English and Portuguese. It's also available in other languages, I believe. It's so beautiful, guys. Okay, this book is one of the kind of books you just want to sit and look at because of the colors It's a bedtime story, so something great to wind down with your child and just get some Portuguese in before bed. This next one that I'm covering, Mariscos o Año Todo, is actually not a favorite in our home. It's just one resource that we found and is a possibility if you want to get some stories into your hands in Portuguese. We just haven't read it so much because it's a bit longer of a story, and compared to some of these other books, it's a little harder to get into because my boys don't have the experience of looking for clams. As Aventuras do Gatinho, however, has become a childhood classic in our home. This book has very simple language. You're simply asking where things are and following it up with here they are, or there they are, or they're everywhere. And so these repeated simple sentences are great for young children and for people beginning to study Portuguese. If you are not a native speaker like I am not, then it's also a less intimidating book to start with, and the pictures are beautiful. Similarly, Você é o meu bebê is a small children's board book that is perfect for introducing to a baby or a young toddler. And in this book, there are English and Portuguese options for reading. Some of the words are a bit complicated when you're talking about the specific sounds that animals make, and some of the chosen vocabulary for the animals themselves isn't the one that's most commonly used, at least in Brazil, but we've adjusted that as we've gone along, and I don't think there's anything wrong with my children knowing multiple options for referring to a specific animal in Portuguese. A language classic for young kids is the Usborne First Thousand Words, and this one, of course, is in Portuguese. This Portuguese is Portugal Portuguese, however, I have not found a Brazilian Portuguese version of this, so some of the vocabulary word selections are different. My husband has noted this to me as we've talked about some of the things. Just something for you to be aware of before you get it, but a lot of the vocabulary does cross over. It's also just a great resource for being able to ask questions about things like what color is that, where is this one, it's above here. You can do all kinds of activities with this type of book, and so we have loved using it. I highly recommend it for preschool and kindergarten ages. The final book on this list today is The Treasury of Classic Brazilian Nursery Rhymes and Songs. This is something that I actually put together, and I translated from the original Portuguese and put into English some of the rhymes, some of the rhythm from these childhood favorite rhymes. This one is available only on Amazon.com currently, but you can also find a printable version if you live outside of the US on my website. The illustrations are watercolor and they're so beautiful. My sons and I love paging through this together. They love the pirulito que bate bate, meu pintinho amarelinho, minhoca, minhoca, borboletinha, and all kinds of other beautiful Brazilian nursery rhymes. This book has been a delight for us, and I'm so glad I put it together. Let me know if you have any other books that you recommend to us to check out in Portuguese that are available in the United States or abroad, or both. We love finding new books to add to our shelves in Portuguese. So I hope this video was helpful to you today. If so, leave a thumbs up so that this video can reach more people who need this type of resource. And also, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell notification because I will be coming out with more Portuguese resources in the future. I'm currently working on some that I will update you about, and also any other ones that we discover, I will add to this channel. So thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below. See you guys next time. Ciao.